we're looking at Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the currency of the resistance.
Paying for something
in
with
exchange for real currency.
Bitcoin's still making money for investors.
Called the future.
I give my real dollars to Bitcoin.
And I told you guys over here, I started to get bearish. The more people that got bullish, the more bearish that I became. And I talked about on the RSI how we were very much overheated. Okay, we had our flash crash, liquidation, 150 million liquidated, bull trap. The bears woke up, they were beating their chests from a 7% correction after 190% to the upside. I am now in the micro, slightly bullish again. And it appears because on the micro, and why I love Wyckoff so very much, it appears as though we are doing Wyckoff accumulation yet again for Bitcoin on the micro. I believe that Bitcoin is forming a little Wyckoff accumulation. And this is why I absolutely love Wyckoff. Wyckoff is my bread and butter. Technically, there are other things that I look at, but as far as technically, glitches. As far as technically, Wyckoff is the main thing that I look at, as well as 7-year cycles, 4-year cycles, Elliott wave, Fibonacci's, and the moon. All of these things are things that I consider, but the main thing technically that I absolutely love, that I feel like shows up over and over and over again, is Wyckoff. Ultimately, Bitcoin, I do believe, is going to pull all the way back to $35,000. But I'm thinking about this. What is the most painful way? What is the most painful ride? And to me, if I'm thinking like a whale, the most painful thing to do is wreck all of the bears right here, up 190%. They were shorting it the whole way. They were dead wrong the entire way. Wreck the bears. And then everything turns to greed. People start using leverage for the first time, and you get a massive, nasty $150 million liquidation candle in a single hour. $150 million wiped out just like that. Boom, gone, absolutely gone, wrecking the bulls. Don't be a bull, don't be a bear. Don't be a bull, don't be a bear. Don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it, my friends. These are not your spouses. These are not your babies. Do not be in a relationship with these coins. Don't join any cult. So the bulls are now wrecked. The bears were wrecked. The bulls are now wrecked. And now the bears are now beating their chests. They think that it is over. And boom, one more finality, bringing us to our macro target of the 48K. That seems to be the most painful ride. After that, even more painful, bringing us all the way back from 48K. And I imagine once we get to 48K, some more people are going to go long, and they're going to get wrecked all the way down at a minimum to 35K. We're looking at a 32% loss, as low as a 44% loss. And that is the most painful way humanly possible. And that is typically what happens. And as of today, according to NiceHash, we are 127 days, 8 hours, 42 minutes, and 47 seconds from the Bitcoin halving. And if you're new to crypto and you don't know what that means, basically every 4 years, Bitcoin's inflation gets cut in half. It will be cut in half in 127 days. Right now, today, the inflation of Bitcoin is less than that of gold. Gold's inflation is roughly 1.8% inflation, and Bitcoin's inflation is roughly 1.6% inflation. In 132 days, I know it just changed, this will be cut in half. There's a good possibility that we are in a super cycle, and we're gonna have a really big correction the next bear market. And by the way, guys, if 30K is the real number, it's not weird to go into 29K on a wick. One thing that I want to bring your guys' attention to is the S&P 500 and the 7-year cycles. I'm a big proponent of the 7-year cycle. If you don't know what the 7-year cycle, basically every 7 years we have a big crash. And right now, the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, they seem to be very much working on Wyckoff distribution on a very, very macro time frame. Okay, so we have our buying climax for this is the S&P 500. And why am I talking about the S&P 500? Because the Dow Jones, Bitcoin has never made a new all-time high without also the Dow Jones making a new all-time high. So I think it's imperative that also the Dow Jones makes a new all-time high so that Bitcoin does. Not that Bitcoin has to do that, but it's never happened without it before.